Welcome back to another edition of Old Boys, New Balls. And speaking of new balls, one of the quickest bowlers we've had in the world of cricket.
There's a lot of people here in Australia that think it's going to be an absolute whitewash. I don't see it being that way. I see it being super close. That, to me, honestly, was the best test series I've ever been involved in. And a lot of people say, but hang on, you guys lost, Australia lost. Well, so be it. It's the way and the style in which it was played. Andrew Flintoff, what did he say? Look, we lost by 2 runs, and that big hand came over my shoulder. He consoled me and just said, you cheeky little bugger, you almost got us. There was a few choice words which I've left out. Cricket has been a massive part of my life, but it wasn't my first love. My younger brother, Grant, I reckon was better than Shane and I put together. Played under New South Wales under 17s and 19s, went into forensic accountancy, and is a classically taught pianist. He's unbelievable. He plays every instrument. He's a freak.
Must be hell at Christmas in your house.
Oh, it's great. It is so good. That's all we do, Beefy. We drink red wine and we have a massive sing-along. It's fantastic. We drive for about an hour and a half to a farmhouse, and there is Sir Mick Jagger. And I took my guitar and a test shirt. I gave him a test shirt because I didn't realise he loved cricket that much. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the best moments of my life.
Thankfully, I didn't have to face him, so I was very pleased about that. But Bill over there, Bill in the snow, but it's sunny here, and the test match starts on Friday.
All I can tell you, Beefy, I'm very envious for you and Brett down there in Australia at the moment, that it's snow, it's cold, it's miserable, and but the one thing that brightened up all Englishmen is that we beat the Kiwis on the All Blacks on Saturday at Twickenham. So we got that one, and we're all looking forward to the actually starting on Friday.
Yeah, super excited. Hello, nice to meet you, Bill, and Beefy, great to see you again, mate. Welcome to Australia.
Mate, it's always, second home, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. So how do you see it going? There's all kinds of talk. What team is Australia going to play? Who's going to bowl? Who's going to open the batting? A lot of ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you really want that, do you, though, just a couple of days away?
Well, not really. And there's been a bit of conjecture for both sides, I guess, about the sort of top order, what the bowling stocks are going to look like. I was a bit concerned when I heard about Mark Wood with some hamstring tightness. I'm really pleased that he's fit, and I'm super keen. And there's a lot of people here in Australia that think it's going to be an absolute whitewash. I don't see it being that way. I see it being super close.
Yeah. And
if Jofra Archer and Mark Wood can play in the first test starting on Friday, I reckon they're a chance.
Yeah, especially with no one's quite sure who's going to open the batting with Khawaja. He will. And also at the other end now, Josh Hazlewood, it's only a year ago when he declared himself fit, bowled 1 ball at the start of the test match, and that was the only ball he did bowl in the whole, and it was out for a while. And the captain is always a blow when the captain's not there. But we'll have to wait and see. But from England's point of view, the door is slightly open.
Absolutely. And, you just have to have a look at the opportunity that England have got here. I think back to, was it 2010-11, last time they won here in Australia. I think this is their best side. I think this is their best opportunity over here.
What's the feedback in the UK, Bill?
I wouldn't say they're confident, but I think there's a sort of nervous trepidation, which I think there always is when you're playing away from home. It's sort of... people don't realise that home advantage, whatever sport you play at, you're used to the conditions, you're used to the wicket and things like that. And the same with rugby, you know what the pitches are like. So I think people are quietly confident, but slightly nervous as well. There's been a lot of talk about the injuries that the Aussies have got, and the sort of whether Archer Wood, whether they will stand the 5 days of a test match, because they haven't got a great record with injuries. So I think everybody's got their fingers crossed that we can pick from full strength.
I'm hoping I'm in the same boat as you on that. But he did bowl, and he bowled quickly in the nets yesterday. But my concern is the nets is not the same as being out there in the middle. And when you're in the middle on these drop-in pitches, they are much harder. They're from the word go. You've bowled with them there, I'm sure, being by now, but it's a different feel, isn't it, when you see the drop-ins and how the ball reacts, and how I think it's might well be with the weather here. I wouldn't be too upset if you lost the toss and you ended up bowling first.
Yeah, definitely. You're spot on about the nets. You could sort of feel $1 million in the nets. You bowl super quick. It feels like the ball's coming out about 180 k's an hour, and then you get out with these drop-in wickets, and the sun's baking down. It was like 36 degrees here on Monday. It felt like 44, they reckon, out in the middle. That's the other thing too. I'm not sure what the weather's looking like on Friday onwards, but it can get very, very hot over here. But you're right. I think sometimes it's always nice to lose a toss and have a bowl first.
So can I just ask a daft question, which lots of people who aren't really cricketers. A drop-in wicket is, so you play in a multi-sport stadium, is it? And the wicket, you just basically, you bring a wicket in on a back of a digger and drop it in.
Yeah, it's essentially, a man-made wicket off site. They cut the square out and they literally drop it in, as it sounds like. So I'm not a fan of dropping wickets. I used to love how every single, I guess, pitch here in Australia had its own uniqueness. The whacker used to be super quick and the cracks would open up on day 4, and Beefy can attest to that. And those styles of wickets in the City Cricket Ground would spin a lot. Now with these dropping wickets, they're becoming a lot more familiar. They're becoming a lot more alike. And I don't think that's great for cricket.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, you've got in the back of your mind, you're thinking this: if there's a bit of sun, this is going to flatten out, get slower, and become quite an easier pitch to to bat on. So, from the bowler's perspective, I'm with Binger on this, and that is, mate, if we happen to lose the toss and bowl, I would not be unhappy. Yeah, not at all. In actually, I'd be delighted.
You've obviously had a pretty decent record against England. I can certainly remember that 2005 series that you had with that great Test match. Well, it was great for the English at Edgbaston that day. What did Freddie Flintoff actually say to you that when you lost by 2 runs, you looked as though you weren't in it, and then you and Shane Warne then put on a load of runs and it was one of the most riveting mornings cricket. I think you could talk about T20s, you could talk about anything, but that was Test match cricket at its best, wasn't it?
Well, I can't remember the scoreline on that. It just slips my mind conveniently. No, look, that to me, honestly, was the best Test series I've ever been involved in. And a lot of people say, but hang on, you guys lost, Australia lost. Well, so be it. It's the way and the style in which it was played. Andrew Flintoff, what did he say? Look, we lost by 2 runs, and that big hand came over my shoulder. He consoled me and just said, you cheeky little bugger, you almost got us. There was a few choice words which I've left out for obvious reasons. But I'll see you.
No umpire's mic or anything like that in those days.
But look, it was such a great morning's cricket. We had 107 runs to chase down. Myself and Shane Warne were batting, and everything was going beautifully. The Barmy Army were on full song. People were stuck outside. They couldn't get in. The ground was absolutely packed. England came to watch the England cricket team, defeat Australia. And Warnie trod his stumps. And then in walks Michael Kasperwitz, because Glenn obviously trod on the ball and did his ankle.
Yeah.
And I think there was a catch went down to Simon Jones at third man. I said to Casper, with about 10 runs to win, I said, look at him. Have a look at the Barmy Army. They're quiet. Have a look at England. We've got these boys. This is our game now. And I hit one a deep point, half a metre either side's 4. We probably wouldn't be chatting about the game. I think we would have gone on, if we won that second test, I think we would have got on to beat England. We would have had that momentum. But momentum's a funny thing. The game's a funny thing. And full credit to England. They played beautifully.
Joe, thinking back to that game when Glenn McGrath stepped on the ball, would you have actually did what Punter did there and almost and say, we're going to bowl? And his star bowler's got his leg in a bucket of ice trying to do something with it. Yeah, that was weird, I thought.
Well, did you see Varney's face? He started laughing.
Yeah.
He's like, really? Look, I think that he backed the players that we had, even though that we'd lost our strike bowler, our number 1 bowler for Australia. He backed our bowlers. And it was probably like, we don't need Glenn to win against you guys. Maybe an ego thing. And unfortunately, it came back to bite us. But, yeah, look, I mean, we could have got early wickets as well. We could have probably bowled better in that first, sort of couple of sessions.
Yeah, it was, you're right. It was a great series. Almost as good as the 81 one. But
that was a good one.
But
you're a very young lad there, Brett. I could imagine in 81.
I was only 5 years of age, mate.
Yeah.
The quick bowlers of today, it seems to be a bit of a dying trade. When you were around, there were plenty of other bowlers bowling, maybe not up to 160, which and that's just over 100 miles an hour that Binger was recorded at. I think it was your highest or fastest delivery. But with Archer and Wood, you're absolutely right. They've got to get through the game, and be available for at least 3 of the 5 tests. That will be in itself a miracle. But bowling, fast bowling, just explain to someone at home what it does to the body and how you feel when you're pounding in and bowling at that kind of pace.
Look, it hurts. Well, I think it's the hardest part of the game, and you've done it, Beefy. 383 Test wickets to your name, and it's hard work. It's hard work running in consistently to try to bowl. I was covering on a general day around 15 to 17 kilometres, and people go, really? And that's not all sprinting. That's moving between the third man, fire leg, and when you're running into bowl. Counter rotation, hyperextension, or twisting and turning in layman's terms. But the hardest thing for a fast bowler that a lot of people don't understand is that when you land, and if you land with a brace front leg, a straight front leg, like I used to, that's where you get the power. That's the fulcrum. That's the inertia. That's where you get the momentum. A bit like a pole vaulter, getting over and getting that bend and that whip in the legs. Most bowlers are 2 times their body weight. I was 16 times my body weight. So 16 times 90 kilos is a lot of weight going through your front foot. And then you throw in, those footholes.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little bit greasy. Sometimes there's a hole that's half a foot deep, and they expect you to run in, land in that, and try and bowl consistently. So it's tough work, but it's the best feeling. And when the sun's on your back, there's a nice little breeze coming over the right shoulder. Get the Fremantle doctor kicked in here at the old whacker. I mean, it's a great sight when the ball's flying through.
And also that was the golden era, wasn't it? Really, of Australian cricket in present times that we can all remember. But when you had Glenn McGrath at one end, you at the other end, Warnies would come in and just tidy up a few for you.
I'm surprised I got any wickets. I mean, I'm in a team with Glenn and Warnie. It was incredible.
Well, if you're a captain, it's perfect, isn't it? You just lob the ball. I need a wicket desperately. Here, I have a bowl. You have a bowl, and Warnie, you bowl the other end.
And then you got Jason Gillespie. You had Michael Kasprowicz and Andy Bickle as well to throw in the mix.
So that was a great era for Australian cricket. Hopefully, it won't be a great era just in the next week or two. Moving on from the cricket side, we'll come back to it later on. But how's the band doing?
Band's going good. I actually live in Dubai now, Beefy.
Yeah, I heard.
So I flew home to Sydney. We did 3 gigs last month, which was a lot of fun. Last year here during the Test series, we played in Perth, played at the Camfield, packed it out. About 1,200 people, I think. It's the biggest pub in Australia. It's massive.
I think there's a party going on there and on the 24th of November, but we'll move on to that later.
We'll get on to that. Hopefully I'm invited.
You are.
It's fun, and I've always loved music. I sort of wanted to find something that would take my mind off cricket. And it's weird because it wasn't until my late teens or probably 20 years of age where I picked up a bass guitar, because there was no bass player in the band, 6 and out, 5 cricketers. And I taught myself. And it's the best thing I ever did, because, you get walloped by Sachin Tendulkar at the SCG and he's on 100 overnight, and you get to your room and you're hurting, the body's sore, you get the acoustic guitar, you play a few tunes, and it's just like, I'm relaxed again. I'm ready.
It's like me having a bottle of wine.
It is. It's exactly what it's like.
Same thing, yeah. Exactly.
So, Brett, you play with your brother. Your brother's in the band.
Yeah, he plays acoustic guitar. I play bass guitar. Gavin Robertson, former off-spinner for Australia, is on drums. Richard Cheekwe, he's the first Chinese heritage or origin player to play for New South Wales, opening batsman. He put himself in as a lead singer. Yeah. And Bradley Edward McNamara, the New South Wales all-rounder, and worked for Fox Sports. He's on lead guitar. So, we've done.
You got to be a cricketer to get in this band, then.
You had to be a cricketer. Yeah, that was part of the deal. And when I walked in, they had no bass player. I literally went and bought a bass guitar and said, "Boys, I'm here." No audition. They gave me the spot.
It's your band.
Well, I wasn't involved because I was the youngest.
Oh, right.
So okay. I just lobbed up with a bass guitar and said, "I'm ready."
And did you come from a family of musicians?
My mum plays the piano. My dad reckons he played the flute. Mum reckons he's full of it. But my younger brother Grant, who was also, well, I reckon Grant was like Shane. My older brother Shane played for Australia. As an all-rounder, obviously looked up to Beefy. That was his hero growing up. My younger brother Grant, I reckon, was better than Shane and I put together. Played under New South Wales under 17s and 19s, batting all-rounder. Went into forensic accountancy, and he's a classically taught pianist. He's unbelievable. He plays every instrument. He's a freak.
Must be hell at Christmas in your house.
Oh, it's great. It is so good. That's all we do, Beefy. We drink red wine and we have a massive sing-along. It's fantastic.
Well,
You have to come down one night.
Yeah, I'm not sure you'd want me singing. And do you have a triangle?
Oh, I want his reds, Bill. That's what I'm inviting him for.
He'll bring a few of his good reds round, I would think, with you.
Hopefully.
Little story I heard from a friend of mine or acquaintance of mine and yours. You played alongside or with Mick Jagger?
I got invited. It was 2008. We were touring India, and I get a call in my hotel room, and you think straight away journalist because your family call the mobile, no one calls the hotel room, and this Aussie voice was on the other end of the line. I said hello, and they said, "He goes, Brett." I said, "Yeah," and I was like, "Yeah," because Journo, right from Australia.
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm such and such, and I security for Sir Mick Jagger. He's invited you to his Delhi farmhouse and would like to invite you over tomorrow night." I'm like, yeah, right. One, Mick Jagger doesn't want to have a catch up with me. Two, I wish he would. Two, he doesn't own a farmhouse in Delhi, in India.
Well, don't look at me.
I didn't know he did.
Mm.
And he goes, and you can bring one person. There'll be a black car turn up to your hotel 6 p.m. sharp tomorrow evening. Hopefully we see you down there. So, and I'm like, what if it is? And I thought, stuff it. I'm going to do this. I don't care. I'm going to crack it. If no one sees me again, well, at least it would have been a bit of a fun journey. I took Jason Frazier when Frazier played his test debut, and I think he took 12 for against India. He's got a good voice. He can sing and play the guitar. So we jump in the car. We drive for about an hour and a half to a farmhouse, and there is Sir Mick Jagger. And I took my guitar and a test shirt. I gave him a test shirt because I didn't realize he loved cricket that much.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he was pumped that I gave him a test shirt. He signed my guitar for me. And that was one of the best moments of my life. So sat there all night. We spoke and he talked cricket. I want to talk music. It was a great night. Yeah.
You'd want to talk cricket for sure. But it's not just Mick there, but you're probably the most popular overseas player in India. And you did a little bit of acting.
Yes. I've done a couple of little cameos in Bollywood. I did an Australian film with Bollywood flavour. It was designed for that market. And when I thought that, they asked me to be involved in a movie, I'm like, yeah. And I thought I'll have my whites on, I'll run across the screen, a little bit of a cricket cameo. And the producer and director said, no, your lead role. I'm like, I can't act. And 3.5 months later, and a couple of flights flying internationally and to see my movie that I was on and someone's watching it. That's the most embarrassed I've been in my life. There was a girl behind me watching my movie, didn't realize I was sitting in front of her. So I came back from the bathroom, just hiding my face, and I was like, oh no. But you know what? Life is short. I don't care. I like to have a crack. I'm not. Cricket has been a massive part of my life, but it wasn't my first love. I love athletics. My mum was a sprinter. I love music. I love red wine. I love getting out to the country, and cricket was just a part of that. Those things I love.
And how's the beer going?
Well, unfortunately, it didn't work out in the end, Beefy. We had an amazing beer, and through a number of reasons, which I probably can't repeat on air, it didn't work out, unfortunately. But look, I loved it. I was very, very passionate about it. I was right behind it. It's a shame, put it that way.
That's a shame because I was there for the Lord.
Beefy's obviously got a lot in common with you, Brett. That he loves sprinting as well.
Yeah, to the bar.
Someone's got to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I remember we had in Sydney, wasn't it?
Yep.
We were sat there and the beers came out and we tried them and actually they were good.
They were good beers, yeah. And I've still got a couple of cases at home, so we can always have one later on.
Go around and crack a few, I would think.
Yeah.
So in India, are you better known for your acting or your cricketing, do you think?
Well, it's funny, Bill, because I had the pleasure to do a song with a lady called
Asha
Bhosle, and Asha G, as they call her. And I was asked in 2006, a bit like the Mick Jagger story, where I had a person come up to me and they said, we'd like you to be and do a collaboration with a very, very famous Indian singer that you would not have heard of. I said, what's her name? They said, Asha Bhosle. I said, of course I've heard of her. So she's like the Aretha Franklin in India. I didn't realize she was 74 years of age at that stage. So I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, just do a song. Who's involved? And they said, well, Sanjay Dutt, another Bollywood actor, blah, blah, blah. Robbie Williams. I went, what, from England? I said, if Robbie's in, I'm in. And I went up to my room. True story. I had my guitar because they just wanted me to sing a vocal. Got the guitar. I wrote this horrendous, cheesy love song, Beefy, in 18 minutes. I called the guy by phone in my ear, said, I've got the song. He says, brilliant, done. Get into the studio. So I sneak out of the team hotel room because we're in lockdown. I put down my vocal, put the bass guitar, put the acoustic guitar down. We had to win the next night, which we did. Otherwise, we would have flown home. I go to Melbourne. I go to Mumbai, and I meet Asha Bhosle for the first time. We do this little film clip for 3 hours. And then 6 weeks later, they ring me and said, your song's gone to number 1. And I couldn't believe it. So to answer your question, Bill, when I'm in India, they're singing my song, and I do the last part in Hindi. And to hear the crowd sing it, it is weird, funny, but geez,
fantastic, though, to be an accolade like that. You know,
yeah, I used to cop it. Andrew Simons was like, mate, what are you doing? Trying to sing in Hindi. I said, well, mate, how many number 1 songs have you got in India? Bit of fun. You got to enjoy yourself in life.
You're right there. You're dead right. And you've done films as well, all sorts of stuff in India.
Yeah, just try. But Bill's got a good voice. He's got I reckon you'd be a nice baritone, Bill, with your lovely vocal.
I lead the singing to my wife Hillary. She's in a community choir locally here, so I just sit at the back and applaud.
I could hear you doing some Johnny Cash, I reckon.
You think so? I think my days of singing, I've never been right up there. Probably a bit like Beefy, should imagine.
No, you'd be far better than me, Bill. Don't worry about that. I am
Stone deaf, I think.
I am to singing what King Herod was to babysitting. So what's next for you then, Brett? You're over in Dubai now as a bass. Are you looking then to expand the music around the world?
Look, who knows? I'm not playing these shows for a financial gain. It's fun. I'd play for free. You wouldn't tell the venue that. But it's a fun thing to do. I'm in there with 4 of my best mates, and the chance to be in front of a crowd again. It's probably the closest getting back to on the field, and that nervousness you get, that energy that you get, the excitement when you walk out and you take the ball in front of a big crowd. You get that again when you play in the band because it's very, you're actually out there. It's consuming. You are out there. It is so raw and it's so natural. But if you hit the wrong chord, I sort of, we do a lot of work. We do a heap of practice, but it's quite nervous if you get lost on the bass guitar somewhere. It's like, gosh, and then you try and find where you are and you get back into it. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to keep doing it and keep enjoying it, keep having fun. Wearing another, a number of different hats over in Dubai, and that was an opportunity that came up for a commercial opportunity over there. The kids have moved over. My oldest boy will turn 19 this week. He'll pop over in January. My 2 youngest ones are at school over there learning Arabic, which is incredible. And it's safe. The community gets on. Every culture gets on. It's just a wonderful place.
And get a bit hot though, can't it, at times?
It can get a bit warm, Beefy. I just got through summer. And 48 is you wake up. It's a normal day.
So big rugby tournament next weekend, I think, starts in Dubai, the 7th.
Yes,
I think the start of the Emirates series. I think they start in Dubai next week.
Yeah, they've got the golf on there. They had the golf there last week. The sort of 7s, but now it's anywhere between 24 to 30 degrees during the day. So it's come off beautifully. It's a nice time to be over there at the moment.
Great place.
Is there any other cricketer that we know of that has gone down the same straight with the band and playing? I think there's a couple of the boys in the West Indies.
Curtly Ambrose plays bass guitar, left-handed.
Right.
Richie Rich plays lead guitar and sings. I actually popped into a bar one time. We're over there playing on a Windies tour, and I look, I go, that's bloody Curtly Ambrose. Because I'd never met him. I didn't realize how big he was.
Oh, yeah,
he's massive. He's on there and he's playing the bass. He's looking cool. And I'm like, he looks like a bass player, Curtly Ambrose.
Yeah.
You've got Graham Swan. Swanee's got a good voice. Plays a bit of guitar. I've done a bit of commentary with Swanee over the years, and he backs himself as a bit of Liam Gallagher from Oasis.
Well, you've probably got the same temperament. But no, he's with us on Triple M. So
top lad he is. He's a top lad.
Yeah,
I really enjoy his company.
Yes, Oh, he's funny. He can be very, very funny, and also very annoying, which usually goes together. But yeah, no. So questions that I get asked regarding going back to cricket briefly. People say to me, "What speed did you bowl?" And I said, "Well, I'm sort of probably fast medium, something like that." And they say, "What's the difference between how do you become a fast bowler and not just medium fast?"
Well, look, it depends on what you want to achieve. I think it also comes down to your body makeup. I think if you want to bowl close to 160 Ks, you have to be a good sprinter. And the first thing that I'll do for any young boy or girl that wants to bowl fast, I would, the first 6 weeks, I'd take the cricket ball out of their hand. I say, let me train you for sprinting first. Get your technique right, get that momentum through the crease, then work on your action. And if you're a right arm fast bowler, your left arm is the most important thing to snap that down and get that momentum. But look, I wasn't blessed like my brother Shane, like you, like genuine all-rounders that could go out and score runs. You know, like you had the best of both worlds. And that is probably the hardest job, to be an all-rounder, to do both. Whereas I was purely focused on trying to get that speed. And every single time I bowled, it was at 100%. So you're definitely on the edge of breaking down every single ball. But that was what was so exciting about it.
Well, I think one of my highlights was watching you bowl to Piers Morgan.
Yes, hello, Piers. Piers and I chat all the time. We
Yeah.
caught up for a beer at Lord's.
Yeah.
We did, and I poked him in his ribs and said, "How's those 2 broken ribs going?" And he's been dining out in that.
Everywhere.
Well, he invited me out. I think it was 2000. When was it? I was over there with the Ashes. I popped in. I think it 2015. I think we did it. It might have been 2018 or 9, whenever it was. Invited me out for breakfast, and he tweeted back then, "Catching up with my dear mate Binger for breakfast because there's no ribs on the menu." And he just keeps flogging it. He flogs it.
He's very good. He's very funny.
I've got on very well. Funny. Yeah, he's funny. He's funny, Bill.
Yeah, but very. I remember I was stood there. I couldn't not watch this. And when you came steaming in, I actually cringed because I looked at him down the other end, and talk about a startled rabbit with nowhere to go. And it thudded in straight into the ribs.
I was about a metre over the front line too.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to mention the no ball.
But, I was steaming in.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't do it again though. I wouldn't. I'm glad he didn't get hurt too bad.
Yeah, well, if you get as long as you keep it
broken ribs.
Yeah, ribs are all right. They're all right. It's this skull that's a bit of a problem.
I got him a nice bottle of red though in Sydney the next test. So I said, you've backed up that chat. You shooting your mouth off, and you backed it up. You got in there. A lot of people wouldn't, like cricketers, would not get in and do that.
Well, no, for sure. But I said to him, "What are you doing?" I actually said to him, and he said, "I'm doing it. I'm going in. I'm psyched up."
Well, I think he called Viv Richards and got some advice. And Viv goes, "First ball, you have to charge." I'm there, and I see him bloody coming down the wicket. I thought, and the natural thing is to bump him, because I wasn't going to bowl a bumper first up. And I chased him, because it's almost like get to the point of where you can't sort of, it's like a plane taking off. It's got to go. Same as bowling. If you get there and you think, oh, he's moving away leg stump, you sort of follow him.
Yep. And at your pace, that would be rather uncomfortable.
Yeah, it made a horrible crack.
You could hear it break, the ribs.
So was that the first ball of the over?
I hit him, I think 4 balls out of 6.
All in the same spot.
I got him on the arm twice, ribs a couple of times, and then Mark Nicholas and Shane Warne said to me, they said, "Just blow his poles out. Like, you're going to kill this poor bloke. Pitch one up."
Yeah. Well, I think that was pretty good advice.
Yeah.
Why did he do it in the first place? But they got it. He's made the statement.
Yeah, look, he backed it up, and he was saying that he could face the England bowlers. They were rubbish, in his own words, or close to those words. The Australian bowlers as well, they're not bowling quick. I could face them, and I was having some fun. I said, "All right, hero, if you're that good, come and face me in the nets." So we're on social media, and then we're on private message. He's going, "This is getting some real good traction. Keep going." He's a marketer's dream, right?
Oh yeah.
So then we're back on.
No, loves it. Yeah.
Back on the public forum, and I said, "Okay, let's line this up."
We had him on one of the earlier podcasts, and it was mentioned. But he's I've known him for he was my first ever editor when I was doing newspaper columns, and when he was actually marched out of the Mirror House, I actually rang him. I was, just by chance had the TV on, saw him being escorted out, and I rang him, and he was getting into the car, and he says, he tells everyone the first person to ring me on that terrible day was Beefy.
There you go.
So yeah, but he was good fun, wasn't he, Bill?
Yeah, very good fun. Yeah, very engaging. Very engaging. So I'm intrigued now when I've been looking at your career. Is this a sense of sort of rivalry and sort of quick bowlers? Who's the quickest? Who's consistently the quickest? Because the sort of you had a bit of a rivalry, did you, with the Shoaib Akhtar, was it?
Yeah, it was, mate. Yeah. I actually remember seeing, I was at a pub, we'd played a game for Mossman, my home club in Sydney, and we just knocked over a team, went to the pub, and we were having a beer after, like we would do after a day's match. And I see this Pakistani fast bowler, 97, steaming in, 97, 98. And I heard the name Shoaib Akhtar, and this guy's bowling rockets, and I thought, this guy's going to go over 160 easily. And then through that early 2000 series that we played against them, my teammates reckon I had to go to the Cairo every single night. It wasn't from bowling. After I bowled, I look up to see how quick I was bowling up on the scoreboard. But we were, and we've been best mates ever since. We've been really close friends, and we had that rivalry, and that's healthy. You know, I remember watching the speed gun the whole time, and there was a lot of excitement around, you know, people that can bowl over 150 Ks again. And yeah, we were sort of racing to try to, you know, knock off that 160 mark. But to me, that was my dream as a kid. You know, I had my parents asked me when I was 9. They said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to wear the baggy green cap, and I want to go past 160.45." And they said, "Why is that?" I said, "That's Tomo's record." And that was on my radar. So whatever I did from the age of 9 was destined to try and break that record.
Well, I was Goffey. I always remember saying to him, "Try the slower ball." He said, "I'm not bowling a slower ball." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "My average speed comes down."
That's right.
You wouldn't bowl a slower ball. But, you know, the quickest I actually saw, and I'm pleased I didn't face him for very long, was Patrick Patterson.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he was quick. I mean, he's up with you. He would have been up close to Tomo as well. I mean, you guys, you three. There's others, Mitch Johnson.
Yep. Mitch was quick.
Yeah, very quick. Wasim, Wacker.
I think the hardest thing too, Bill, is what the listeners might know is, like, the batsmen these days, and when I'm saying these days, back in the era I played, like mid-90s to 2012, 13, they had all the protection. They had the rib pads and the arm guards and the helmet. Like the 70s and 80s, especially during the 80s where they had that 4-prong pace attack for the West Indies, a lot of guys weren't wearing full helmets. They weren't wearing the face guards. They were wickets that were conducive to fast bowling. They weren't low, slow, drop-in wickets. So thank God I wasn't playing in that era.
I think the quickest I've ever seen, it makes yours, Beefy. You captain your thing at Somerset, Brian Close against the West Indies.
Yeah.
No protection whatsoever, did he?
No, and he's 44 years of age, I think he was, when he played in that game. The oldest England pairing was John Edridge and Brian Close against the West Indies on a pitch at Old Trafford that was uneven and quite hard.
And corrugated iron, it was undulated.
Oh, it was like one we had in Jamaica as well. The game was abandoned after 3 overs.
You poor buggers. I think Stewie got pinned a few times, didn't he?
He got hit hard. He said it was the toughest 5 not out he's ever had in his life.
And he's a tough guy. I mean, he's had broken fingers and he's been through it all.
Was part and parcel. But no, especially for keepers, it's not so much when they're batting, it's more often when they're taking the ball coming through. But no, the art of fast bowling is something that draws crowds. People come in, they want to watch this. And it's for us in the West Indies in that time, or going around the Caribbean, we didn't think about it, particularly helmets and things, because you just didn't wear them. And then they crept in, really, during the Packer series.
And do you actually reckon that since the helmets did come in, that batsmen became a bit complacent? Because it doesn't really matter if I get hit now, I'm protected. Because Ian Chappell used to always say, if you watch the ball, you're not going to get hit because you can actually move your head in time. Would that be a fair comment?
Absolutely. And I've said this and I've preached it. I said the problem is because, and just look at, for instance, it's Philip Hughes, that's how sad that was. But he actually just stood there and crunched it. And that's why it was a freak delivery to hit him where it did. But if he'd have been playing, he's a good player. So he could have actually just stood there. All right, you've got the protection, but that's the backup. If you can actually play it, and I think that guys tend to, not maybe quite so much now, but certainly when helmets became fashionable, suddenly thought they were bulletproof.
Yeah, and look, it's the sort of amount of people that have been hit on helmets, and thank God that we even probably was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Not sure if you heard, but there was a 17-year-old boy from Melbourne that passed away, got hit in the head, which is so sad. I mean, he's out there playing the game that we all love, and one of those freak accidents.
Ben Austin.
Horrible.
Ben Austin,
terrible.
That's his name. 17 years of age.
Yeah.
And what about the lad that was actually loading the machine? Because it was actually a machine that was firing it. And that lad's got to live with that.
Yeah. Well, like Sean Abbott.
Yeah.
Sabba's got to live with the fact that, and I mean, full credit to him, and his family never blamed him in terms of Philip's family. But I mean, to even play the game after that's happened, and then to even try to bowl a bouncer again, takes a special character.
So what reaction time do you get, you guys? If I'm facing you, Brett, and I'm not Piers Morgan, I'm a nice lad, and
I'd buy you a nice enough volley, mate, but I would not want to run at you. With a bloody ball in my hand.
You're a sprinter. You could have run around me pretty easy.
You've got roughly about 0.3 of a second, so less than half a second to make up your mind. So when you let go of the ball, it's pretty quick. But which is why I'll sort of look at batsmen that can play the hook off their nose, they can play the pull shot, and you actually admire that as a fast bowler. It's a great. And 2005 when I saw the blue skunk come out and Kevin Peterson, and he's hooked me off his nose, blew me a kiss. And I thought, who is this guy? But what a player! Far out.
Why is he known as the blue skunk?
Yeah, he had the big blue rinse coming through, and he had the presence. And amazing.
He wasn't a bad player, though, was he? Good player.
Well, you play 100 tests for your country. You are an absolute superstar, in my opinion. Oh, sorry, for your chosen country.
Yeah.
Okay. One in the ribs. That's
point taken. Yes.
We were playing against England here in Perth, and we had Andrew Strauss and Kevin Peterson batting, and someone yelled out, I thought it was Australia versus England, not Australia versus South Africa.
Well, I had to put up with Lammy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, we got Manus Labuschagne. We've got Usman Khawaja, who was born in Pakistan. So,
isn't he qualified pilot, Qantas or something?
He is, not Qantas, but he's. I think he's got his pilot. I'm not sure he's got his pilot license, but he's done all of his tests.
No, I thought he had a commercial license, but anyway, he's got something to go back on. One of the things that worries me, and this is speaking now, guys that play cricket and rugby and any sport, and suddenly. From the age of 14, you've been watched. From the age of 16 or 18, you've been playing. And then suddenly that door closes when you're 36, 37. And suicide is a problem, men's health. And I actually don't think people are prepared for it.
Yep.
They just simply think, oh, this is going to go on and on and on forever. And the truth of the matter is it doesn't. And then you've got to find something. And I think that maybe in the cricket world, we could look after a few of those guys a bit more than we do.
Agreed.
And I just think that everyone thinks it's such a glorious life. It is. It's fantastic when you're playing, but then you have to come to terms when you're not playing. And some guys just can't do it. But it's something that I've been Gus Warland. And I went
Got you for life.
Yeah. And I went for them, did a thing with him about awareness at Wollongong.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's my hometown.
Yeah, I can see why you moved.
but you actually spot on, Beefy, and we were very lucky. I consider myself very lucky to play for Australia for 13 or 14 years. The average lifespan of a professional athlete across the board around the world is less than 4 years. So when you sign up, and I tell people if I go to unis or I go to schools and they talk about what's it like to represent your country, I always say it's a bit like a merry-go-round, and you try your living best to jump on it and get on that merry-go-round. And if you're lucky enough to get onto it, you hold on for as long as you can. Then you get spat out, and it's like you hit the ground, you get up, and you're like, okay, how do I book a flight? Flights have always been booked for us. How do I book a hotel room? It's always done for you. How do I do this? How do I do that? So if you haven't got other life skills and you haven't been prepared or you haven't sort of gone down different avenues, then you could struggle and you are the man one day, next day you're dropped. And all of a sudden you are, I personally didn't care. I didn't have an issue with if I was to finish up with cricket. I don't need that fame. I wasn't doing it for that. I don't, you appreciate the crowds and all that type of stuff, but that wasn't the reason why I played. But one thing I was always conscious of, I worked full time, even when I was playing for Australia. So from the age of 17, I've still got the same guy now, Richard Beaumont, that I've been involved with menswear. So I was selling menswear, learning about business and how to invoice and how a business is run from the age of 17. So I got home from the World Cup 2003, back into work. I think it's really important that you have other strings to your bow.
Any these guys?
I think it's strange because for sportsmen and women, that actually you peak at a very young age, and then you've got to really manage that rest of your life when you don't have that sort of fame and adulation and sort of that buzz and excitement. So I think it's a real important thing that we have to do in rugby. I know sort of spend a lot of time really looking after those players who really didn't probably make it as an international player, but might have picked up an injury and things like that. And how do they then cope with depression in a way? I think it's a form of depression.
It is.
When they feel as though the whole raison d'etre is gone.
Yeah, and then there's the financial hit. There's the embarrassment of being on the back page when you've been dropped from your country, and everyone's lost their job. I lost. There's plenty of times I was dropped from the Australian Test team. You got to fight your way back in, but some people don't have that opportunity for whatever it is, for whatever reason. I look at McGill, what he's been through. He took 200 Test wickets as a part-time bowler next to Shane Warne. Now he would have taken 1 million wickets if he was the number one spinner. So a lot of people carry a lot of issues when they finish playing cricket.
I think it's all sport. All sport.
Yep.
Yeah, all sports, I think.
Yeah, it's a
you must have faced it. You had Liam, your eldest lad, who was a professional rugby player. You've got Jimbo, who's obviously your grandson, playing for Wales. I've had Josh, my youngest lad, been a pro rugby player for 13 years, and all of a sudden it comes to an end, and sort of you got to find a day job.
Yeah, very hard. And the other thing as well, and this is quite apparent, and Bill's experienced this, and I've experienced it, and more in sport, our children and grandchildren have experienced this. When you've done well yourself, the name doesn't always help.
Yes,
it goes
correct.
against you. And Bill, I know, feels the same way about that. And I certainly think it's pretty obvious to me that I don't know whether it's a form of jealousy or it's a form of whatever, but people just, if there's anyone going to be left out of the side, it'll be one of ours. Because
it's right. And look, there's a lot of people that will also think it opens up a lot of doors, and there are opportunities sometimes, but I think it's actually more detrimental. And my son Preston, who just turned 19, he's a batting all-rounder. Very, very. He actually just got back from England. He did 6 months over playing at Litchfield Cricket Club.
Litchfield, okay. Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. And he was enjoying his beers and curries on Thursday nights and made friends for life, he reckons. But he got something like 1,200 runs and 44 wickets for the trip.
That's not bad at all, yeah.
Totally loved it. But I think he went down the road of being a batting all-rounder because the first thing that they'd go, oh, you're not as quick as your dad. So that added pressure that he didn't need.
I'll say the wickets at Litchfield, I think, probably be a bit slower as well.
Yeah, they were powder puffs, mate. I went up and watched a few games when I was over there, and I was just sat under a tree with my hat on and just want to be dad watching.
Dad watching.
Yeah,
great.
Brilliant.
Wonderful thing to do. And one that you never forget. And for me, those are the best moments now. Not, my time's gone.
Yep.
And I've always accepted that. But I was lucky as I went straight into television with Sky for 20 odd years. So I didn't have that problem, but I know a lot of people have, and a lot of people, suicide is a real problem.
Yeah, we definitely have to address it because, you don't want to lose a close mate. I lost a close mate at the age of 13, and I've done a lot of suicide awareness through my early 20s, raising awareness. So, look, there's always people to talk to, and that's the thing. There's always another way. There's always another. The sun will come up tomorrow. So whatever you're going through, you just got to chat to people. And I think now we've got the right tools in place. There are a lot of numbers you can call and people you can have a chat to, where we probably didn't have that back in the day.
Yeah, I think that in rugby you've got the players' unions and things like that. You've got the Global Players Association, all these kind of things where, look, especially you've got a lot of guys like in the Pacific Islands who made a lot of money in the time, and when they go back home, then obviously they've got to readjust to a different kind of lifestyle when they go back home. It's a real problem.
Yep. I remember one quote I'll give you. It was when my son Liam played for Hampshire, and he went and played for Hampshire. On his debut, picked up 5 wickets.
Lovely.
Yeah, but the headlines the next day were chip off the old block, all that kind of thing. Father, son, and he just said to hell with this. Yeah. I'm out of here, and went back to rugby. Yeah. And went on to tour South Africa with England and play union for Cardiff. Yeah, wow. And also switched to league as well.
Well, that's great to have the best of both. I mean, he was a freak. Could do anything.
Yeah. But
good genes, mate.
Yeah, genes, yeah.
Thanks to your wife.
Yeah. I'm going to say.
Yeah, right, okay.
Right, you got it absolutely spot on, thanks to Kath.
Well, look, we're coming towards the end but Bing's been great here. But what we need is we've got to have a little wager on what is going to be the score in the Test series. So our guest can go first.
I'm going to go no draws, and I'm going to say that it's not going to rain in Sydney. And I'm going to say Australia 3-2.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me, by the way. But
although, could I have a little side bet? The team that wins here in Perth, starting on Friday, I think will win the Ashes.
That's exactly that. I'm with you totally on that. Just the first part we won't quite agree with. Bill?
Well, you guys are the experts. My heart would obviously say England, but I think my head would probably say home advantage, probably the Aussies.
Good on you, Bill. We love you, mate.
What he'll do? He wants to come over here. So he wants to come over here.
Yeah. Whether a Beefy
spot over here for you, Bill. Always. You're always welcome.
I'll crack some of those beers that nobody bought.
Yes.
Right. I am going for. Bing is absolutely right, and I totally agree with them. If providing the weather doesn't interfere, which I don't think it will here, I think you'll get a game, and I think the side that wins that will have the. If England can't win this test, when they've got the door is already ajar, they need to win it. If they don't win it, it's going to be tough. They'll take a draw, but you cannot lose it, because if you do lose it, suddenly you'll remember you're not playing against 11, just 24.5 million people you're playing against. So I am going to, I won't do a Glenn McGrath where he said, we'll win 6-0. Well, that's an interesting pitch because there's only 5 tests.
It's a 5-match series, yes.
Oh, PG.
But no, I'm going 3-1 England.
Okay. The other thing to consider is that there's every chance on Friday that you're going to see, for the second time ever in the Australian cricket team, from what I believe, 2 debutants to get the baggy green cap, if it goes the way I think it will.
Is that the first time?
I think it's happened once, so it'll be the second time. So Jake Weatherald and Brendan Doggett, because Hazelwood's out with his hamstring.
Yeah.
So you could see Brendan Doggett, who's been around the squad now for a long time, and Jake Weatherald, who's definitely earned his opportunity.
He's the young quick, isn't he, from is it South Australia?
Yeah, so he's done well. He's got 44 wickets, I think, again, this Shield season. And, Jake Weatherald, who's a very powerful left-handed opening batsman. So he will probably get his spot. But that's England's best chance. I mean, this is their opportunity when hopefully it's a fast wicket. Unleash Mark Wood. I love watching Mark Wood bowl.
Well, if he gets it right, he is quick.
He is quick. And he swings the ball away.
Yeah.
He's got a great action.
So,
and if England don't win, I can hear Beefy saying it's all down to their preparation.
Well, is it?
Well, I'm not the only one over here that thinks that. So a lot of people have said the same thing. So I'm sticking with that. I just think that you go back to 86, 87 tour. when we were given no chance whatsoever. And what we did was the senior players room with the junior player, which because we had a month together, nearly 3 months before the first test. And I had Phil de Freitas, who we bumped in. And that made the whole team a different team, because suddenly they weren't thinking we're on the fringe. No, because we've been with the boys, we're all in it.
That's it.
And that made a hell of a difference. But yeah.
That's why we love sport.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I think it's been a terrific show. Bing, thank you ever so much for coming in, mate.
Really nice to meet you.
You too, Bill.
And I'm sure we'll see a fair bit of each other over the next few months. If you're staying here, or are you going back to Dubai?
I'll be here. I'll be here for the full 5 tests. Regardless of the result, Beefy, we might have a nice glass of red or 2.
Oh, well, okay, and if you insist.
Or 2.
It's a tough life, lads. It's a tough life.
Okay, thanks all.
All right.
Thanks,
cheers, guys. Thanks very much.